Assalamualaikum and hello guys, my name is Amar and today my friend Afiqah and I will tell you guys something about scuba diving. Am I right?
Yep, although I don't like to swim and dive in deep water, scuba diving looks so fun. And we'll tell you guys about the things that you need to know and you want to know about scuba diving.
You guys have probably known about scuba diving as it is popular around the world, and scuba diving is mainly done for the attraction of the unattainable undersea world.
Yeah, it is one area of nature that mankind has not been able to fully control. We simply are not able to breathe underwater. Hence, scuba diving gives us an opportunity to be in that underwater world, even if it is just for a limited amount of time.
Now, for those who are wondering what is scuba diving is a mode of underwater diving where the diver uses an apparatus which is completely independent of surface supply to breathe underwater.
And for your information, the word scuba is an abbreviation for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. In other words, equipment to allow us to breathe underwater. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that is pretty cool actually. Well now, before we move further, let's look into the history and the origin of scuba diving.
Scuba diving is a sport that had its humble beginnings back in the ancient times. In early Greece and Rome, people used to swim or dive while holding their breath or by using massive breathing apparatuses like hollow plant stems. This was commonly practiced during combat or while gathering food and materials from the ocean.
Then, after a few centuries, in the year 1943, two inventors named Jacques Cousteau and Émile Gagnon invented the modern demand regulator used in underwater diving. Their invention allowed for the equipment known as the aqualung, or self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, or scuba, enabling safer and deeper dives.
Here are some clips of the first testing of the newly invented aqualung.
Years later, there comes a French naval officer, Yves Cousteau, a man who dreams of opening the door of Davy Jones' locker. He has invented a new kind of underwater breathing apparatus with tanks of oxygen to sustain the swimmer in the depths below. He plans a new kind of adventure, a free diving expedition, without air cables or lines, to the sunken wreck on the floor of the sea. With him, he will take a motion picture camera, enclosed in a lung of its own, pressurized to operate in the new medium. With this equipment, they will remain like fish in the unfriendly element for almost an hour. They fix to their feet the weird flippers, which will be their only means of propulsion down below. The fantasies of Jules Verne are to become real before our eyes. The motion picture camera takes us on a new kind of adventure. A new frontier opens up beneath the sea.
We first tested the aqualung in the summer of 1942 on the French Mediterranean coast with my friends Frédéric Dumas and Philippe Taillet. At that time we had no idea how it would change all our lives. Later on we would add new sophisticated equipment. But the important thing was that now the diver was free and safety was in freedom.
As the technology evolutionized, there's of course rules and safety measures that you need to follow while scuba diving. There's 6 rules that you need to follow to ensure your safety while scuba diving, which is the first one is breathe continuously while on scuba, never hold your breath. Holding your breath can cause an overexpansion of your lungs and the symptoms are short breath, pain, and etc.
The next one is never go deeper than you can comfortably equalize. Many divers forget this rule and take the risk to burst and eat drown while diving, and the chances of drowning is high. So if you have to take time to equalize and to climb the situation, please do.
And then make sure to ascend slowly from every dive and make safety stops. Do this to also avoid overexpansion on your lungs and also to reduce decompression sickness risk caused by your body absorbing too much nitrogen.
Make sure to continuously monitor depth, time, and pressure as you are diving. Common accidents happen when you run out of air at depth. Training prepares you, but it's not always enough to save you. Better be safe.
Yep, and don't forget to not overweight yourself, as it is unfortunately a very common mistake that divers make, where some divers decide to take more weights than necessary, and this can affect your buoyancy and pleasure underwater.
And finally, you have to dive like a fish and not like an ape. This is actually an important rule. Take time to visualize yourself and check your position underwater, as it affects your pressure underwater and prevents destruction from those beautiful coral reefs.
Yeah, what have those poor coral reefs have done to us anyways to deserve those destructions? Well, anyway, you have just learned the rules and safety measures that you need to take while scuba diving. Now let's see what equipments and gears you need to have and prepare for scuba diving. Let's go!
Here's all the equipment you need, which is diving mask and snorkel, which are used to see underwater, and also the snorkels help to save the air in your tank. Then which are skin tight and made of neoprene that locks a layer of water around the body to keep it warm, and dry shoes, as the name indication, to keep you completely dry. And then scuba gloves, which help to keep your hands warm underwater and also prevent skin injuries. And also you need fins to move through the water seamlessly without wasting too much energy.
Then, of course, another vital component of your gear, which is scuba tank. It stores large volumes of air and allows you to breathe underwater. You can either rent them or invest in one if you plan to dive frequently. And never forget about the regulator, as this is what allows you to breathe underwater. It basically connects to the scuba tank and moves air from the tank when you inhale. Then, you have the depth gauge, submersible pressure gauge or SPG, and compass. The depth gauge specifies the current and maximum depth reached during your dive. Your SPG will show how much remaining air you have in your scuba tank. A compass helps you to navigate underwater. And finally, you need a dive computer which monitors the duration of your dive, the depth you are at, and how much longer you can safely stay at depth. You can safely say that all of these equipments and gears are important to have if you want to go scuba diving. That's a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, there are reasons why most of scuba divers are professionals. Oh yeah, do you know that scuba diving is one of the fastest growing extreme sports in the world today? Every year, millions of people go scuba diving, whether for a course, an introductory dive, or because they already have their diving license.
Yeah, I do. Scuba diving has grown in popularity over the past 2 decades. This is evident from the rapid growth in the number of certifications issued worldwide. The number has grown to 23 million at a pace of about 1 million every year. But of course, the industry is not without its fair share of challenges. Unfortunately, problems such as environmental degradation and the effects of climate change, and because of this COVID pandemic, scuba diving doesn't have similar results in 2020. As a whole, scuba diving had a dip of 4.7% in participation in 2020, which is a negative trend in a place for over a decade. Well, the silver lining is that the participation rate in the group of core divers, which is those scuba diving more than 8 times per year, increased to 1.3% over 2019. It's small, but it's an increase.
Things cannot be perfect, right? Well, anyways, here are some fun facts about scuba diving. Number 1. Once you get below 10 meters deep, you cannot see red or yellow. If you cut yourself, your blood looks blue. Number 2. Scuba diving increases strength and flexibility of your muscles. And number 3. A 41 years old Egyptian named Ahmad has broken the record for the deepest scuba dive, plunging an astonishing 332.36 meters in the sea off the coast of Dahab, Egypt. That is crazy record. But by the way, if you happen to go scuba diving one day, where will you like to go?
There's a lot of beautiful places around this world for scuba diving, and I'll name you some of them, which are Barracuda Point in Sipadan Island, Malaysia, Great Blue Hole in Belize, and also in Mantarai Night Dive, Kailua Kona in Hawaii. Finally, there's one more thing that I want to talk about, which is the risks and fatalities in scuba diving. Scuba diving fatalities are death occurring while scuba diving or as a consequence of scuba diving. The risks of dying during recreational, scientific, or commercial diving are small, and on scuba, deaths are usually associated with poor gas management, poor buoyancy control, equipment misuse, entrapment, rough water conditions, and pre-existing health problems. Some fatalities are inevitable and caused by unforeseeable situations escalating out of control, though the majority of diving fatalities can be attributed to human error on the part of the victim. Every year, approximately 100 people die in North America while diving, and another 100 die while diving in the rest of the world. Diving is a relatively high-risk activity. By that you mean there are many ways in which you can be injured while diving, and many of these situations result in death, and we need to take note of that. Well, that's why scuba diving is one of the most famous extreme sports, and someday I hope that we can visit these scuba destinations and also try out scuba diving. And anyways, thanks for watching.